came back and started to self-defense. Her whole love was to have her children there. She didn't struggle so heavy just to get along, have enough to eat. She was careful. Very careful. And there was a sister, Clara.
Welcome to our broadcast. We are recording on our teleconference line also. You're welcome to call into the line at 641-715-3850, access code 773342. And we are doing our regular broadcast. This is a time where we're going to be turning back time this week. We have a number of marvelous, miraculous endeavors. Well, I won't call it that. Enterprises. That's a better word. Enterprises that we are doing that are, of course, beyond our current concepts of wealth. We want to give everyone eternal wealth and infinite wealth, and have everyone become equinoxial Qs. Now, everything we have for a marvelous, miraculous world and worlds is with us technologically. We already have all the technologies to bring that about. What we do not have is the sociology or the anthropology, the social psychology to bring it about. And the biggest reason we don't have it is the perpetuation of patriarchy beyond its viability for this planet. It never was such a good system, but it was able to murmur along for a couple of thousand years. Now it can't do that. Patriarchy continued means extinction for humanity. Yet we find lots of people flocking to patriarchy. Biggest reason is mass media has been controlled by patriarchal psychopaths. And they are able to attract to them cadres of very poorly informed and apparently very poorly raised people, females and males, who can't seem to notice that they've been, as I found one excellent graphic, which I'm going to be putting up, someone else developed it, deceiving, I think it's deceiving, distracting and deceiving, disinforming, distracting, and deceiving. People have trusted their authorities, but when the fairness doctrine was abolished, and even that was not very well applied, under the Reagan-Bush era, gradually a consolidation of the media began to occur, and only a few people really dictate what is on the media, and the rest of the people in the media are what you might call apparatchiks. They're just doing what they're told, and they're doing what their employers allow. The better people have been booted out or left. What it is that the large numbers of the people haven't figured out what already actually quite a bit of a large number of people have figured out, that there's something, really terribly wrong with the media. It's not just, it's bad. It's real bad. It's real bad. And that's why people who know that it's easy to affect change just by disentangling yourself from the lies, and helping other people to very easily disentangle themselves from the lies. We also have technologies with the proper society around them which can easily save our planet. Primarily the computer, which allows a more democratic exchange among people, except where it's being controlled, and there are ways around that. There are ways around that control, and a lot of people have found them. And also the solar panel and other forms of renewable energy mean essentially a life without cost, no energy involved. Once you have initially connected yourself to the power of the sun, you're fine. Your nearest star is going to power you, and you don't have any expenses, and you can learn the techniques of permaculture and community gardening, and you can essentially make heavens on earth wherever you are. You just have to alert your neighbors how easy this is to do, And you, our family, is filled with very gifted people who have the instincts and the intergenerational genealogical heritage to want to bring this about. It does require turning away from patriarchy, because patriarchy over time so dumbs down the estrogen forces of a society that all that rules is a tyrannical testosterone. It isn't even a testosterone that is capable of viability. It's a tyrannical Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of testosterone that is moving toward extinction, doesn't seem to know it or doesn't seem to care. And so we can change this very easily, and that's why we do these broadcasts, to empower you and to connect you to ancient Atlantis, so that you know that the ancient Atlantis and the traditions of the Essenes, the Mariam of Magdala and Mariam of Nazareth and Jesus of Nazareth's family. There were other members of their family, Rachel and Salome, they believe, are the women. There's James, and there's another brother whose name I'm forgetting. I can look it up. All of these are ways for us to remember. This is the week of remembrance of, well, it can be more than a week, it can be more than a day, of Mariam of Magdala. And so we're going to be doing this and reminding you how easy it is for you to co-lead each other and one another and all the people that you know into a very marvelous, miraculous world, just by letting go of the lies. Let go of television. Let go of selections. Let go of them. Know that you are ELLECTED, the elected already. You have been already elected, already by me and by the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, to do a simple going off grid, you might say, on a large scale. And you can do it. So we'll say the light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. And we'll say, Namaste, Mikatuye Oyasin, Mikatuye Koseverall, Kongs Pax, Ko-Impax Culture, Bahaval Chaim Shalom Salam, Salam Shalom, Mir Pache Pache Mir, Merci, Buenos Dias, Ubuntu, Ciao, Schlanzavag, Das Vidanya, Chop Chop, Chinque, Sayonara, Good Day, and Cheerio. And there's many more languages, and you add them all. This is a planet where now the computer allows anyone's thoughts to be known by anyone else on the planet, everywhere on the planet, except for where the computer is not being used, and that's something that we can discuss. And any thought in any language can be translated in about 15 seconds at most. It doesn't take long to communicate with the finer thoughts of the people of the earth and to learn from them. It's easy. And all of the answers and all of the current critiques of current U.S. society and other societies which are totalitarian right now are available on the internet. People have already written this. There's many, many graphics and loads of videos and audios to tell you. The amazing thing is that people have such a tendency to follow patriarchal authority that they can't seem to see that by doing so, they're walking off a gangplank, endangering their younger people, endangering themselves, endangering one another, endangering this marvelous, miraculous creation of nature that is this planet, and endangering our future, the universe, which could be the most marvelous, miraculous one, including the opening of the stargates. So that's our job as a family, to turn this around as Equinox GQ's Co-Secretary General's Co-SZPECIALL. So let me continue to say, let us love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper all, both in each and every one, as Equinox GQ's Co-Secretary General's Co-SZPECIALL. And we'll say it again, let us love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper all, both in each and every one, as Equinox GQ's Co-Secretary General's Co-SZPECIALL. Now, we'll see what the time is. If there's time, I'll try to get another voice on this broadcast. I need to demonstrate for you, which I already have many, many times, how easy it is to get a cooperative, some level of interested cooperation and conversation with any woman anywhere. But most important is for the women of our family to come and to pull out of their dissociative disorder, their identification with aggressors, their Medea complexes and their Electra complexes, to pull out of what is preventing them from loving enough themselves enough and loving the other women of our family enough to pull us out of patriarchy long enough to transcend and get out of this lockstep of control by patriarchal old men in boardrooms. Just because Hillary is running doesn't mean that she's not being turned into a Shillery. She may have originally had idealistic notions. So did probably her husband. So did the previous token whose administration we're currently calling a presidency. It isn't a presidency. He also was picked to deceive, to tokenize you, to do exactly what Martin Luther King, and then quoted by Gina Davis, the genius, the Mensa genius, who played a president on television and runs a center on media that isn't quite going far enough, but is pretty far in critiquing her own industry, saying very simply that tokenism and gradualism is a tranquilizing drug. And when you're tranquilized too long, you're a sleepwalking zombie apocalypse. You're walking your society off of a gangplank because you're asleep. You need to wake up and come to these conferences, have it just a short conversation. You already have the facts, and just discuss them as it is emerging in your region and the people that you know, what your experiences are, and then how you're going to use your task force that is part of our family, and also any neighbors that you want to include who are also, in most cases, pretty closely related family, to work with you on this. It's really simple. And again, you're not asking people to do anything exactly. You're not really asking them to do much in the way of protest, except certainly to write about it, which everybody is doing on the World Wide Web. Loads of people are doing it. Millions of people are doing it on the World Wide Web. So why you wouldn't want to, I really don't know. They really can't chase after everyone, can they? So, you know, there's millions of people protesting what is going on in our society and in their own totalitarian societies on the World Wide Web already. So connect and talk, and don't be afraid. Fear is your worst enemy. Fear perpetuates tyranny. Tyranny in this time perpetuates extinction process. So you have to stand up for life. You really don't have a choice about it, unless you think that all you want to do is hide under the bed, in which case you're not functioning as a full adult. You have a dissociative disorder. You have a passive identification with aggressors, and you can't let go of daddy. Face it, and you'll be free of these hobgoblins, and you'll come here and we'll have a marvelous, miraculous time. So, so again, we'll say, let's love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper all both in each and every one as Equinox Q's Co-Secretary General's Co-SZPECIALL. And we'll say it again this way. Let's love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper all both in each and every one as Equinox Q's Co-Secretary General's Co-SZPECIALL. We did do a broadcast yesterday. You know that we've got some things that are going on right now behind the scenes, as you say. Various types of emails at targeted fulcrum points of our family and community and world system to bring about a shift. Lots of people are doing this. I am not the only one. Okay. But I might be the one with the clearest perception of how easy it is to make the change, and how the New Millennial Golden Rule makes it the most easy because of its components, and because of you, and because of the spirituality that Mother, Father, Goddess, God recognizes is at the core of human experience. So we'll drink the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. especially celebrating the 2 to 3 years on cue breastfeeding for every holy baby girl and holy baby boy, past, present, future of our and your and all our one family, because we are all related, as Anna Marie always says. And it is understanding that allows us to save one another. And also the milk of human kindness throughout our lives, past, present, future, as Equinox Tricus, Co-Secretary General's Co-Savior. I drink on behalf of all, both, and each and everyone, and representing all, both, and each and everyone as possible. Again, as Equinox Tricus, Co-Secretary General's Co-Savior. And we have with us the elixirs of Purim and Passover. Remember the controversial Da Vinci Code interpretation that Mary of Magdala was at what was called the Last Supper? Well, we're not interested in Last Suppers. We're interested in first and continual breakfasts. What are we breaking from? Patriarchy. And what are we breaking the fast from? The denial of abundance that patriarchy causes, and the denial of genius that patriarchy causes. So we have our fruit juices of Purim. Fruit juice of Purim. We have our fermented wine of Passover. We have again the Soma of the Vedic ceremonies of an egalitarian time there in India. We have the Yastra. They have the Yastra, the early first fruits of a new seed season, and we have our Earthsz and our Earthsz of Purim, and our Passover and our Easter, because we are putting together the promises of 50-50 with the promise of a promised land, with the promise of eternal life. And we're saying you don't need to die first, and the only reason we've had so much of that on this planet since the fall of Atlantis in 1650 BC was because we've been practicing patriarchy all that time. And it's gotten us into kind of stupid error. And although we've had a lot of technological breakthroughs, and we certainly have had a lot of estrogen-based caring and child raising and community efforts on the part of women, the women were never quite equal. Never quite equal until now. Now, in many places around the world, they do have parity. Billions of women have parity, and the men who are in those societies with them like it. Billions have 2 and 3 year, well, it's hundreds of millions have 2 and 3 year paid family leave. Obviously, billions are linked on the internet, and we are approaching, if we have not already reached, billions are using solar and renewable forms of energy. So you just have to kind of get onto a bandwagon that's already occurring, but lead it with the New Millennial Golden Rule, and it could take place faster. The New Millennial Golden Rule with the Panchayat Raj, the gender parity in every neighborhood-based democracy, the Genuine Progress Indicator, which is already now not only the law here in my jurisdiction, so-called of Maryland, but also in Washington now, also has added it as a definitive practice of their government. So you can do that in every neighborhood. You can do it in every building. You can do it everywhere. It's really easy to do. The computers make it easy. You just collect some data and put it into computer and graphic, and there you have your collective in commonwealth, and it's sustainable. And therefore your personal wealth goes way up, because, and you might say the rising tide of the right paradigm lifts every boat, and you let go of a lot of nonsensical materialism and hold on to what is real wealth: quality of life, sustainability, enjoyability, not being barred from different places around you, sharing attitude, a more caring attitude, and a more sister and brotherly, sister cousinhood and brotherhood, cousin brotherhood all around you of all one family. So it changes the consciousness, and then the genius that arises out of not throwing women down and out, and minorities and youth out of decision making, the genius that comes out of that opens the stargates. Because the theory of many physicists is that the universe is folded topographically It is not linear, and there is a doorway inherent in the way the universe is constructed so that you can travel in space-time. So then you'll have heaven on earth and all earths, and we'll discover, as the Vedic India and as Sanskrit and Hindu told us, and many other religions have alluded to, that our ancestors' spirits did not disappear, that they are waiting resurrection to become risen. And when you have a loving society, everybody becomes risen. Isn't that a logical understanding of everything you've ever heard and read? Well, then that's what you're going to make. So we drink to these liquids, but none of them are more precious than the milk. The milk is the most important gift of apotheosis for humanity. Now, lots of humanity did not have optimal breastfeeding. So what do we do about that? Well, there's lots of techniques to do something about that. Not only guided imagery, but there's now quite a bit of surrogate breastfeeding going on for adults. There's a way to heal it when you're not throwing all the resources of your society at weaponry, the way they did not do in ancient Atlantis. They didn't spend anything on weapons. They went for 3,000 years and no weapons. We can do that. We can do that. We just have to decide to do that. Okay, and you're not throwing away trillions of dollars a year on weaponry and the wrong energy, building, fracking, and drilling places, and big pipelines that have to be constantly maintained and put out the fires that they cause, and all the things that they're doing. If you don't have billions wasted, then you have lots of time to heal everyone of any injury that they had psychologically or emotionally or sociologically, inequities in their lives. So you can heal it. It's easy. You're putting your resources in the right place. So that's what we're talking about. So we'll drink these liquids, but neither one is better than the milk. Milk is the most important apotheosis. I drink on behalf of all, both, and each and every one, and representing all, both, and each and every one as soon as possible, as Equinox True Q's Co-Secretary General's Co-Savioress. And we'll drink the water of loving, living planets that will reclaim and sustain our planet Earth and all our Earths to be, past, present, future, as Equinox True Q's Co-Secretary General's Co-Savioress. I drink on behalf of all, both, and each and every one, representing all, both, and each and every one, as Equinox True Q's Co-Secretary General's Co-Savioress. And we'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception, name days, and holy days. Let me get these cakes out. And as I say, I was a little slow on all the tasks that I had because there were many. Because you don't cooperate with me, and I have very little in the way, except for Anna Marie and occasionally Ma Patricia, who's under somewhat of a siege right now herself, can provide. So when you don't help, things take longer. That's obvious. If you don't form a team, then important tasks take longer. So it's your own fault that you're yet continuing global warming. It's your own choice to just sit there passively and not come join. And you can join. You have the kitties kits, the 11 steps, and the New Millennial Rule with its 5 pillars itself. You have what you need to change the world and worlds around you to the best. So let's celebrate you in all of your glory. You're going to do this. I tell you are going to do this, or you'll be very, very unhappy that you didn't. So let's celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days, past, present, future, as Equinox True Q's Co-Secretary General's Co-Savioress. We start with all our Shekinahs, past, present, future, and all of our young people, females and males, around age 37 and younger. It doesn't have to be exactly around that. It's not a mechanistic 37. It's a fuzzy time around that age, because that is a time where you're still pretty young and you're not completely socialized into nonsense. So and so we'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days as Equinox True Q's Co-Secretary General's Co-Savioress. And I should say solar Co-Secretary General's Co-Savioress. And so therefore we're combining equinox with the solar months. We're combining the equinox months with the solar months, and in that combination comes the circle, and we become Equinox True Q's solar co-secretary generals, co-secretaries. For now on, maybe I'll write it that way so you get the sense of the circle and everything I write. And again, we'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days as equinox true Qs, co-secretary generals, co-secretaries. Saving the world and worlds can be easy as kind of almost, you know, getting out of your bed in the morning. It's where you just let your feet fall on the terra firma, and you're walking around as a co-secretary general, co-secretary. It doesn't have to be a big mess or difficulty. What's making it difficult for you is that you are holding on to something old that doesn't work. And you're doing that in part because your adult authority figures, parents, grandparents, other authority figures, especially those on television, your so-called leaders who are not yet, because they can become co-secretary general, co-secretaries too, but they're not yet. And we have to lead them. And some of them are very close relations of ours, and in fact, they're all relations of ours. There's French connections on all these families, and our family is very much of a French connection. So, you know, it's very connected. You can do it. So here's, we're going to show our Purim cookie and our Passover wafer to remind you of two things. One, why did not Esther achieved the 50-50 offered to her in the story of the book of Esther? Well, it didn't. She did something marvelous with her relationship. She did save many hundreds of thousands of people in an act of profound compassion, which was very, and also great courage. She had to go and speak to the head patriarch in a way that most women were not allowed to do. She did it anyway. That's why I'm telling you, you can stand up. She stood up at risk of her life. Her predecessor had been murdered, but she was not murdered. She spoke up for her people, and she created an environment of compassion. Now, when women do that in a circle, that's why we have a circular cookie instead of the Hamantaschen triangle, which represents a hierarchy. We have a circle. When women gather in a circle and speak to parity, not patriarchy, they empower an infinite wave, a force that begins to go round and round and round and round and round everybody. And then it becomes so. So she could have actually had 50-50, but they had by then lost the wisdom of Atlantis. They lost the notion of women's gathering. They lost their bonobo aspect. By then they had been too adjusted under patriarchy. So she missed the opportunity, but this is our chance to fulfill Queen Esther's, the offer made to Queen Esther, and help her through our reincarnation of her. And a number of the people on our family community have the names Hadass and Esther, and they are risen versions of her. So we can fulfill that, and we all have that in us. We all have that name because the name Esther, or Esther means of the stars, and Hadass means a flower that's of the stars. So that's Hadassah, means a flower of the stars. So that's what you are. So, and we also have our Passover wafer, our matzah. Now, this is flat. Why is it flat? Because people in Passover are always running away from someone. I mean, people under patriarchy are always running away from a dominator, tyrannical government. They always have to run away, and they always have to look for another promised land. But if they make the same mistake of setting up another dominator patriarchal government, then they have to run away from there too. So now a lot of Americans are running away from the United States. A lot of Israelis are running away from Israel. Why? Because they turned into patriarchies instead of democracies. So let's instead have patriarchy turned into parity, and everywhere, and everybody has a promised land and all the promised lands. And guess what? It's a promised land Earth. The whole Earth becomes a promised land for everybody. And then we also have the ability to open the stargates and discover that by doing this, the entire universe stands up and applauds, and we get contact. We get contact just like in the movie Contact. We get contact because the Akashic Record people are waiting for us, and they may already be civilizations already on other planets like Vega that are watching and listening. So here is our risen females, the round bread, and our risen males, the oval bread. Okay? And we also symbolize all of the foodstuffs, the multiplicity of foodstuffs that Mother Nature gives us on this and all our planets. We have our rice, we have our oats, and it's so important to understand that all our nonsensical adulteration, this incredible aberration of Monsanto that has come directly out of patriarchy processes in the United States, is being banned all over the world, except here. So wake up, ladies. Wake up, little girls. You've been kind of asleep. Gradualism instead of parity. That's what your problem is. So we gather our 3 eggs of our women. Bonobo become Bonohau to be goddesses, the Celtic magic number of 3. We can start out with just one woman like myself calling the circle. I have a big lasso around you all. I keep making the circuit like a dove flying around you. You know that. And we also have the ability of 2 women like Anna Marie and I, and sometimes it's been the 3 of us with her mother, and you've heard Rosa and Sylvia with me, but I don't get that often enough because most American women are in a dissociative state and they're not functioning well enough to do this yet. But we figure when it gets real and the pain gets real harsh and bad, then you'll suddenly start saying, I think I could do this. So we gather the 3 women and we make it 5 or, make it 4, 5, 6, or 7, even 11 women, and then anoint each other as bonobos that know how to be goddesses. Atlantis risen. And Equinox 2Qs, co-secretary generals. Solar, co-secretary generals, co-secretaries. Then we bring to us 2 young females and 2 young males around age 37 and younger, and we anoint them as goddesses and gods of an egalitarian pantheon, not a hierarchical one where there's a male at the top and all the women are somehow a little bit less. No, this is egalitarian, and all of us are equally equipped to make decisions in our local, global, universal neighborhoods, and we have divine democracy, and that brings forth the divinity in all of us. So then we anoint our younger people, and they are young goddesses and gods. I'm talking about all of you. I'm talking about you, marvelous, miraculous family. All you know who you are, and all the neighbors, and I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Okay, and communication is the key. And if you're blocking communication from one another, then you're doing great harm to yourselves. And I can tell you, some of the mothers are blocking communication with daughters, and some of the young men are blocking communication maybe with some of their sisters or mothers or sweethearts. Yeah, as long as you do that, you're setting yourself up a real bad fall. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Instead, if you're a woman, start coming immediately to the teleconferences or give me a call. We'll do a 3-way call in the teleconference together. If you're a younger person, just put your cell phone in front of another woman and tell her that you want her to come to me in the conference with me. And if you're a young sister and brother team or a couple, do that together. Put the milk in front of them if you can. Tell them it's the milk of human kindness and they need some. And then you'll start the ball rolling in the right direction instead of the wrong one. And we'll avoid planeticide, and we'll have paradise on this and all our planets. And so let's see. I show you? I showed you the 3 eggs, and then adding we add the young people. And then when that occurs, every time 2 women get together, they have greater trust, greater bonding, and greater mutual respect. The sister-cousin relationship is repaired from the formation of the circle that brings that about. And then every sister-cousin brotherhood relationship is repaired, and that women and men in their conversations with each other have more give and take. They're both considered equally spiritually adept and important. And men maybe refer a little bit to women because they have a little bit more estrogen, and that's what we need right now, the connecting, intuiting, nurturing impulse. But we have a lot of women in North America who have almost walked away from that impulse. They have such a dissociative disorder. They don't know who they are anymore. They're like rhesus monkeys raised without the warmth, you know, in that famous experiment that they've been raised without warmth, and they are functioning as incapable of connecting and nurturing. So we have to identify that as a problem and help women regain what they already have. It's already in their hormones. They have estrogen. And the men also can benefit from that, and women can benefit from helping men to be a little bit more patient, a little more well-rounded, and they'll have greater genius when they do. And then we include that in the couplehood of an egalitarian marriage. That's another subset, very important, especially for raising of children, and balance of love and work. And we also include the egalitarian relationship between two men without false hierarchies of class and race and birth order, ethnicity, religious sectarianism, any kind of the usual nonsense that men put between each other and cause them to turn on each other in crime and war and in other forms of exploitation. And then we remember that each person has the balance of yin and yang within them. And that's our single egg, remembering what it's all about. Okay, and that's you, and you have to work on it. You have to start acting on it, and that's what we want you to do, and that's what God wants you to do. And so we've done that, and we've done that. So now we'll show our consciousness currencies. And you know that I've been passing these out all over my neighborhood, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, maybe thousands. I don't know how many have gone out among people in my neighborhood already. And you can do that too. And it shows, and when you go right on it, golden rule right on it, it shows your pictures, our Shekinahs of past generations, our current Shekinahs of adults around age 38 and over age group, and then our younger Shekinahs and young Shekinahs, also in connection with their older female ancestry, is the first co-secretary general's co-secretary. Now, this does not mean that older men cannot participate. We will make exceptions for older men who have already been explicitly calling for parity for women and men, for women to engage one another, and for the inclusion of youth. If men have already been endorsing the New Money Golden Rule, they can become part of it too, but older men. But that's very rare. And we also want to say that even those men, were asking them to defer to the women and the younger men, and all the women and the younger women and the younger men in the process of what we're doing, because otherwise we will all flip back right into our old habit of patriarchy. So can't allow that to happen. So let's do it this way, and we'll make all our kisses. And we have our, that's our, and then who is that? That's our Marguline Feldmarian, including Silver Golden Kindian, including Salkindian, including Morellian, Adelian, and maybe starting out with Morellian, Adelian, and Winnerian, and Medallion, Adelian, and Morellian, including Margulian, and Silver Golden Kindian, Zalkindian, and Feldmarian, and Goldenbergian, Newcomerian, Millerian, Herstian, Herzogian, Sokolovian, and many, many more surnames. All the surnames that have been intertwined with our family. All the kins, all the kinds, all the mans become women and mans, and all counted. All females as all males. Sons become daughters and sons. All of the names spoken in a more egalitarian way. And here you are in the big multiple branching family tree. We'll give you your big kisses, and we do especially thank as her Harriet and Ray and as her Harriet for giving us the model of gathering the women and this inspirational place on our virtuous website and broadcast of gathering, at a very real place that we can all go to when we visit the heart and create a solar garden there, a marvelous Elysian Fields garden of Eden there, and erect a Huron historical marker to all of the family and generations that are going to, by doing, open the Stargate. And so, And did I say Sweeten and Sagan, too, very much included in this. And also Anne Marie and Patricia's family, equally too, and Oprah's family we're starting with. That doesn't mean we're not including people of other heritage. We are including Celtic people. We've already been to the Brennick Skakel Fitzgerald Kennedys, who also have a big presence in the Heartland, Chicago area, and here in Maryland, and that connection is very important. And people of all heritages, Asian as well. We've had, that we've had Lee and Shuan already involved in some of the phone calls, and we're going to come back to all that and make sure that it all comes together. Okay, and we've had contact from people from Vedic India as well as Native American people. So we have, we'll make this our branching tree of all these surnames, and so I include Rayanne as her Harriet, and Precious Antoinette, Rayanne as her Harriet, and Rayanne Clara, and as her Harriet and Jacqueline, and Precious Antoinette, and Rose Rosemary, Marie Graham, Papa Graham, Dorothy, Lynn, Rachel, Rose, Pearl, Myrtle, and Marie, Vernita, and Hattie Mae, and many, many more. Ethel, and we've got Ethel in our family too. One of our neighbors is Ethel, and of course Malka and Shirley, and remembering all the people who have passed and are waiting to come through the Stargate to become eternally young again with us and risen. And we have all of our older women, not only slightly older, we believe they can be eternally young, as the goddess Ceres is, or Hera, as Hera is, or Estrella, or whatever goddess you want to apply, Gaia, Yuli, Uni, all of these goddess names imply a goddess who does not age, and like Mother Nature herself, she's always producing flowers and seeds, and she's not aging, she's always resilient. So we include Marion and Victoria, Julianne Marie, and I, and Georgine, and especially also Barbara and Jennifer and Cheryl and Susan, and I mentioned Jennifer, Marcia and Denise, and including also with Anne Marie and Patricia, both of them with Laura and Martha, Sophie, and Pauline, and also including with Oprah, her family Patricia's, and other families of that group. And then we also have the other various Brennick Skakel County. We're also going to get in touch with also our families of Chinese and Vedic heritage that I also mentioned. We do have on our tree Vedic heritage with Meredith, and that's also a French connection also there too. And so we have included all of these people and all these women and many, many more. If I've forgotten anybody, oh, and Carrie and Mary and Carrie, very important. And then we have our younger women. We have Hadass, and we have Vanessa, Hadass and Vanessa, and Rachel Marie, and Danielle Juliet, and Stacy Anastasia, and Soma, and in all of the circle. We don't want to create a false hierarchy among these women, but their names have particular value and valence in different epochs, as reminding us of different women who lived at different times and have genetic and cultural connection to these young women, and they are them risen, you might say, and also Elisa and Hillel, and Rebecca and Sandra, and did I mention among the older women? I neglected to mention Donna and Diana. That's our most patriarchal branches. They need to overcome. We're going to help them. They already been given the name of a therapist that we're going to gather at the office with. Her name is Burl Denise, and we are going to gather there and eventually go from there to the Head Crown Halo place and do some very marvelous progressive touring of our homes and places all around that area, and then by internet all around the world, all around the continents and all around the world. And we'll do that together. We have the means to do it. All it needs is a laptop computer. It doesn't need much. We can do it very easily. And also, so did I say also April and Edith and Angeline and Rosa, and also Aquarius, and there's among the other family Caroline, and there's some even younger ones. I'm forgetting the names of some of the young people in the Broadcasztch clan. And we're also including Mrs. Light and her children and great and grandchildren, Bonnie and the others. And we're including all of them, and Eugenia and all of that. And also then we include, equally important, our young men. Very, very important, equally important. We can't have a world without young men. Young men, their idealism and their energy is very, very important to young women and to all people. And so we very much include Yeshai and HeAlTIMATE equally. HeAlTIMATE and Yeshai equally with Ross and Jared and Marcel. And did I mention, among the young women, and among females, I have to mention Hesperus and Athena, and also have to remember in our next generation of Elisa and Natalie and Elisa, and we also included our young men, HeAlTIMATE and Yeshai and Marcel and Ross and Jared and Etani and Eric and more, and also Andre now we're adding. So you're going to hear more about this. I'm doing these emails over this weekend to the family of Oprah Winfrey and some other families. And I'm also going to have a connection to the family of the Discovery Channel, which is right here near me in Silver Golden Spring, I like to call it, because we have a lot of people going solar here. It's becoming golden. And so here we have this, and we are going to give you all kisses. And also indicate that there are men, older men, waiting also behind the stargates, and that's Julian, Julian, they are brothers and all, Joseph and Carl, and more. Okay, and we'll give everybody kisses. And kisses and hugs, really. Okay, and then we have the branches of my family, which are kind of landlocked right now at Winston Towers. We don't want it to become Lewiston Towers, so we're doing some things that we are trying to help prevent that situation from arising in Chicago. They are, because the place is not recognizing the importance of Vanessa and her relationship to Harlan Lewis Leviz, and my sister Julianne Marie is one of the people of all of you who are not figuring out the importance of connecting. And so there is a great danger there. And there's also great danger to other young women and young men on this family. We are very concerned about Hadass, about Rachel Marie, Danielle Juliette, about Soma, about Ross, about Etani and Marcel. We're very concerned about the young people. But the mothers not gathering, they're endangering their kids. There's no question about that. I have to lay on the line to you, ladies. You're endangering your next generation imminently, and as soon as that, if you have any tragedy, that's going to, or did I say among the older women, Victoria? I don't think I said that, and I don't think I said among, let me go back and do this. I'm going to do that again. It's so important that I not forget it. Isn't it funny? The reason I forgot it is because I don't have any direct contact with them because it's being blocked. So, Victoria, and Mariama, and Libertea, and Estrella, and also with Vanessa, Raquel, Julia, and Julia, Raquel, however you want to put it, you can put both ways, and Lynn and Sharon, okay? And we have other Lynn's and Sharon's that have already been involved in this. A couple of Sharon's have been involved in this project already, and you've heard from them over the years. I don't know if you remember them, but they've been involved too. And I have some other friends, Sharon, who are going to try to reclaim in Chicago, and here we have my branches of family here. This is the Adelian Morellian, and it's also Feldmarian. Margalian is over Golden Kindian, Zalkindian, Feldmarian, and also Goldenbergian is a bridge on this branch, and we have to help Georgine stop hiding. She is hiding. She's an 82-year-old coward and a great lady with great connections and a great intelligent person, but not able to trust herself well enough to, and Julianne Marie has not been intelligent enough and trusting enough to break down the barriers and have them love thy neighbor as thyself yet. So we want that to occur, and that will be protective to Vanessa and HeAlTIMATE Leviz, and to all of you. And we have the same kind of situation going on with Mary and the same kind of situation going on with Barbara. They're not talking to me and to each other. And this is endangering all of your children. I don't know what to say. when are you going to wake up? Do you have the Medea complex? Are you trying to drug and stupefy your children so that they can't make it into a new world? Wake up, ladies. Wake up. You are not the victims of medical doctors who are themselves the victims of pharmaceutical industries, who are themselves the victims of big intertwined media companies. You do not have to be at the bottom of that hierarchy. Just pull out of it and make the connection with me, with one another. So let's give this very marvelous, miraculous branch of mine a huge kisses and hugs, but also want to say that all the other women that I keep talking about, Anne-Marie, Patricia, have brought some of their family, but not enough of their children. And we've had Martha broadcast with us, and actually Georgie did broadcast with us once. But we have to have the mothers bring their children. That's very important. And the other women who are not mothers, like Nisa, who I neglected to mention, Nisa and Esther, and Esther is a mother. We have to help the people that we know who have children to say that they have a special obligation to pull out of patriarchy for their children's benefit and give us parity culture and a sustainable culture. So let's do this, and let's do it all together. But sometimes when women feel that no one cares about them, they can't care very well about their children. So we want to reinforce the value of Victoria and Marian and Julianne Marie and all their sister Kazinas, with Nisa and Linda and all of you. You're much more valuable than you know, and it's your low self-esteem that gives you the reason for low agency. You say, oh, I can't do anything, I have to leave it up to her, to him, looking to a few cherry-picked women tokens and older men. And that's not the way to live. You're living in the wrong mode. And that's why your kids, some of them are sick and have had gastrointestinal issues and are depressed, and you're causing it. So wake up, women. Wake up. And we'll be giving this group our kisses. And again, the younger people really don't have to wait on their mothers anymore. They can call me themselves with some woman, any woman, on a 211-311-411 line. That'll get the ball rolling. Just let your mother know, and that'll change the picture, and then they'll start taking on the roles of coordinating and cooperating that they should. And so we've done that, and now we'll quickly say, with our clear bowl of fruit, we'll pick Parity Paradisze, past, present, future as Equinox Tricus, Co-Secretary General, Co-Secretary, and we'll say we've had enough of patriarchal planeticide. We're going to turn away from patriarchal planeticide. We're not going to pretend selections are elections. We're going to know that we are the ELLECTED, and we can teach other people how to become that, how to become Equinox Tricus, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Secretary, and choose Parity Paradisze on this and all our planets, past, present, future. And now we'll just do our usual supercalifragilistic little exhortation here. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earth, past, present, future, is Equinox Tricus, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Secretary. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earth, past, present, future, is Equinox Tricus, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Secretary. Now, I told you I've been doing a lot behind the scenes. We have been holding some older men, some important older men in terms of the life system of all of you, more accountable, and we're going to be revealing more about that early in the week, and hopefully this week. And I believe I've been given a sort of a green light by the universe that if we can get our act together by early August, we can accomplish this. And I was very grateful for that. What seemed like as an extension, because I was very sad and frightened that I would not be able to accomplish this. But I think we can, and I would normally have another voice come on the line now, but we're running a little bit low on time. I want to get some calls too. So I'm just going to let this be the broadcast on the conference line, and of course it was broadcast here on Google and is available on YouTube.
This session is no longer recorded.